Hello everybody, it's been quite a while since I've posted a video. Basically since spring, I've been moving from one state to another during the COVID pandemic, which has been a challenge. Uh, I had to get one house ready to sell and our house that we bought ready to buy. This place was quite a mess, unlike the pristine state you see in it now. uh, but I had a lot of work to do on the house before I could do anything in the hobby. I do have most of my shop set up, so why don't we take a little tour of the shop here, and then we'll take a tour of the rest of the place. This is going to be the first video in a series of videos that I'm going to basically not really go step by step on how I build my dioramas, but kind of enough to give you a good general knowledge of how to do it. The specifics of construction with wood, you can, if you don't know how to do it, there's plenty of places that'll teach you online. So we're not going to get into that. We're just going to show, the stages of construction. Once I get into the actual diorama building, we'll go more into detail about that. And I'll try to do some tutorials on how I do things, which may or may not be the correct way to do things, but I tend to get things done. Right now the diorama is in sections. It's broken down into its 2-foot by 4-foot long sections. I got them scattered throughout the basement right now. There's 4 sections. They survived the move. I still have to check the electronics to see if any wires broke. Anything, became disconnected in the move, but, we were pretty careful when we moved them. So basically, let's start over here. Got some of the workbenches that I had before. You got a little pile of stuff here. This is stuff that I got at the train store in a grab bag, basically. $10 got me all that. And a lot of people, okay, HO is too small for 164, and it is. But the railroad, model railroad manufacturers, as far as the details go, they have some float in their sizes. What is billed as HO might actually be a larger scale, slightly larger, slightly smaller. Same with O scale, and S scale is terrible about it. 164 scale, Johnny Lightning's a good example. They claim 164, but most of their cars are not 164 scale. They're close, but no cigar. So if you go and you look at these details, I'll get a little closer here. Like the beds over there, those are actually 164 scale. I put a figure, 164 scale figure up next to it. I measured them. They measure a little bit over 6 feet long. It's just pretty close. They're kind of on the large side of a bed, but they're within standards, at least not for me. And I'm pretty I mean, I have OCD, so I'm pretty much a stickler on things that work. But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we got in here that we'll be able to use. There's loads of wood for pickup loads. These big pigs are on the big side, but, if you look at some of those large hogs they got nowadays, they're not really that out of spec. A bunch of crates, other little things, little doodads. Some of the stuff is a little too small. I'll sort through it more. And basically, if it's something I can't use, I'll get rid of it. I'll give it away. Usually I just give them away, especially like the figures. There's tons of figures here that are either too small or too large for what I need them for. So stuff like that, I give it away. It's, give it to the kids. They can play with it. Scale's not that important to them. I got all my paint's up in here. I got the door blocked, so we're not going to look at that too closely. That right there is all a bunch of little parts and detail pieces. Over here, I got my plastics of my styrene that I build buildings with. various detail pieces, things that I'm going to use on the dioramas later. I'll buy stuff years in advance. You know, it's like, I know that I'm going to build it eventually, so if I see something I could use, if it's cheap, I'll snap it up and I'll just throw it on the shelf and use it, you know, 5, years or more. I did that a lot when I used to build motorcycles and mess around with motorcycles. I'd have parts that I'd have for 10, 20 years before I'd use it on anything. Here's my bench. And I really haven't done much work. I just basically unpacked. I still have a lot of sorting to do. Over this corner there, that's the my wife's workshop that we're working on right now. She does doll houses and other miniatures like that. So I had to build her a shop too. Got a mini fridge. It's kind of nice. This metal table is just kind of an area we can just work on stuff in general. Let's go on to the main room here. This is why I bought this house. Is that this basement is 45 feet long by 34, I believe, wide. Doesn't look that big, on film, but if you were standing in here, it definitely is. So I'm going with, right now, I'm going with 32 feet long for my diorama by 4 feet deep. The old diorama, the 2 by 4 foot sections added up to 16 feet long by 2 feet deep. So we're going 32 foot by 4 feet. There's going to be 4 8-foot by 4-foot sections that are going to have their own table, their own power supplies. They'll be totally independent of each other so that they can be moved around for cleaning or whatever at will, or if I have to move. Again, which hopefully not. I'm hoping to stay here until I die. Hopefully that's going to be at least another 30 years or so before they carry me out of here. And by that time, I hope to have quite the display in here, which my daughter will love to have to try to do something with. I'm hoping that maybe it'll get donated to a museum or something eventually. I don't know. But I have plenty of room to build. Let's go over this way. I don't have the lights on over here, so it might be a little hard to see, but I have my die-cast on display in the corners here. I collect die-cast. I mean, I've always loved die-cast, but I tend to buy die-cast now for how it fits on my diorama. I'm not one of those guys that's got to have every single paint of every single model of every single variation. I'll buy a car just because it's green, and I don't have enough green cars for my layout, because I just, I look at the old pictures of traffic, groups of cars at parking lots, and I make notes of, in my mind, of, paints and types of cars and stuff, so that I get a proper representation. So let's just move over here now. This is where I'm working on building the bench work. My benches are going to be 8 foot long by 4 feet deep. The frame is going to be made out of 4x4 for the legs, and then 2x4 for the top. And then my bases are going to be made out of 1x4 with a hard board, which is that stuff on the floor. There's Jack the cat, he says hi. So that's what I'm going to work on today, is I'm going to build a few of the benches, and then we'll show you where we're headed from there. It'll be nice to get the diorama back together, and I can see whether or not plug everything in and see how it works. But we're going to be doing quite a bit, 32 feet long by 4 feet deep, and that's just one section. Once I get done with that, then I'm building another 32 by 4 foot section, which will also fit in this area. And the idea being is that it's going to be the opposite sides of the road. So I'll be able to push all my tables together, and they're not going to be on casters, so they'll be easily moved. And you'll have both sides of the highway is what I'm going for. So that's all I got for now. Like, subscribe. I hope to get better at doing these video things. I'm going to get a video program video editing program, learn how to use it, and hopefully my production skills will grow as we progress with these videos. So stay tuned.